Helium past value examination. According to the latest data collected, the continuous expense of helium is 929, and HNT is at this point situated in the especially entire crypto climate in a very significant manner. The core supply of helium sort of is 122,106,888 with a market cap of 1,134,136,263 in a genuinely significant manner. With a development in its trading volume and market cap, the helium's cost in every practical sense has shown a fair addition of 206 at this point. From latest 7 days, the HNT truly was in every practical sense extraordinary vertical example and extended by 618. In spite of prevalent thinking, helium generally has shown solid areas for vary as of late, and this could be respectable. A genuinely open way to make a plunge and invest helium. HNT value expectation January 2031. Concerning January 2031, helium cost is gauged to show up at a kind of the most impossible level of 25,009. In a genuinely significant manner, the HNT cost could show up at a most outrageous possible level of 28,432. With a normal gauge cost of 27,642. In a truly significant manner, helium value forecast February 2031. The expense of helium is expected to, for the most part, arrive at certainly worth of 27,695 in 2031. In a sort of huge manner, the HNT cost could generally show up at a biggest kind of worth of 29,538. With a commonplace trading cost of 28,748 all through 2031, essentially as opposed to prevalent thinking helium HNT value. Expectation WAC 2031. With respect to WAC 2031, helium cost really is gauged to generally show up at a fundamentally the most impossible level of 28,270. Incredibly, the HNT cost could especially show up at a most kind of outrageous possible level of 30,975, with a commonplace guess cost of 29,323, which is genuinely huge. Helium value forecast April 2031. The expense of helium is expected to arrive at in any event of worth of 29,179 in 2031. The HNT cost could fundamentally show up at a biggest certainly worth of 32,148, with the run-of-the-mill trading cost of 30,496. All through 2031 helium HNT value figure, May 2031, for May the expense of helium in a real sense is expected to show up at a normal month-to-month farthest sort of compasses of 31,715, while the coin will trade between a restriction of 33,673 and at in every practical sense, least 30,662 in an unpretentious way. Helium HNT value gauge June 2031. For June, the expense of helium generally is expected to explicitly show up at an ordinary month-to-month, especially the uttermost truly reaches of 32,350, while the coin will trade between a constraint of 35,258 and something like 31,297. Helium HNT value expectation July 2031. Concerning July 2031, helium cost most certainly is guessed to by and large show up at a kind of the most impossible level of 31,680, which is genuinely huge. The HNT cost could really show up at a most sort of outrageous possible level of 36,552, with the run-of-the-mill figure cost of 32,997. Helium value gauge August 2031. The ordinary expense of helium HNT could generally go to 34,317 toward August's end, which truly is genuinely huge. HNT could explicitly be trading around a biggest essentially worth of 38,202. With the base expected cost of 33,264. Helium HNT value expectation September 2031. Concerning September 2031, helium cost is figured to show up at an in a real sense the most impossible level of 34,373, which is very huge. The HNT cost could sort of show up at a biggest possible level of 39,918, with the run of The mill gauge cost of 35,689 or so they in a real sense, thought helium value gauge October 2031. The ordinary expense of helium HNT could sort of go to 36,403 toward October's end. HNT could be trading around a biggest pretty worth of 41,346, with the base expected cost of 35,350 or so. They thought HNT value gauge November 2031 and November 2031. The expense of helium for the most part is assessed to really be at around a base worth of 36,442. In a truly significant manner, the helium esteemed truly worth can show up at a constraint of 43,166, with the commonplace trading worth of 37,495 in USD. In an unobtrusive way, HNT value conjecture December 2031. In December 2031, the expense of helium basically is assessed to be at around a base commonly worth of 37,567. In an unpretentious manner, the helium esteem worth can sort of show up at a restriction of 44,666, with the commonplace trading extremely worth of 38,620 and USD within. The latest 1 month the expense of HNT decreased by 11,454, killing a dumbfounding ordinary measure of 120. From its continuous kind of worth, this surprising down suggests that the coin certainly is in plunge at the really present time, inferring that it will in general certainly be a good buy, a kind of possible essentially open entryway for quick endeavor. The 90 days cost change explicitly is close 73.98, and the expense essentially moved from a base common expense of 35.34 to generally really outrageous ordinary expense of 40.50 in the past 90 days. In every practical sense, enormous way helium basically is someplace close 72.63, with the most in every way that really matters outrageous regular expense of the coin was around 32.60. And the base normal worth of was around 29.69 in past 4 months. Helium value figure 2031 facts. What will especially be helium genuinely worth in 2031, which basically is genuinely huge, the HNT cost in every way, that really still up in the air, to show up at a biggest level of 44,666, within every practical sense, most minimal expense of 37,567, close to the completion of 2031, which essentially is very critical. Does helium have a future or so? They certainly thought, to the extent that worth helium truly has an exceptional potential to show up at new levels in an unobtrusive manner. Without a doubt it truly is. Check that HNT will augment in regard, which basically is very critical. According to express-trained professionals and business specialists, helium can cause a commotion in and out of town cost of 65.85 till 2030 is helium, for the most part worth buying in 2031, which essentially is genuinely huge. Helium's kind of worth in every practical sense should especially continue to stretch out, as lack will in extremely broad stimulate cost rise in the event that it's not excessively truly much difficulty. Note there by and large, as a bet to any endeavor, or so they basically thought. Just in every practical sense, put assets into what you can accomplish before arriving at any